Okay, so just months after the divorce papers were filed, the whole conversation around Hugh Jackman and Deborra-Lee Furness just exploded.
Right. Because she didn't just file the paperwork quietly.
No way.
Yeah.
She released this solo statement, incredibly powerful, framing the end of their, 27-year marriage?
Yeah, 27 years.
Not as some sad mutual thing, but get this. A traumatic journey of betrayal and a profound wound that cuts deep. I mean, that language is just a gut punch.
It absolutely is. That statement, it instantly set the emotional battlefield for the public, didn't it?
Totally.
And then right into that smoke, basically, step Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster.
And this wasn't just like a casual coffee date photo.
Oh, no. This was high stakes. It felt meticulously choreographed, like a spectacle designed specifically to counter that narrative, the deep pain versus this visible, almost defiant joy.
The ultimate red carpet hard launch.
Exactly.
Welcome to Starscode Report. Join us as we break down Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to viral TikTok controversies, we dive into the stories behind the headlines.
And today we are doing a real deep dive into the source material you sent over. We're essentially deconstructing a pretty masterful, very high-stakes public relations campaign.
Right.
And the big question we're tackling is, well, can a perfectly planned, visually flawless, all smiles debut like this really override that other story, that potent, really emotionally charged counter-narrative of betrayal and, let's face it, a hotly contested timeline?
Yeah, the timeline is messy.
It is. So we're going to dissect the anatomy of this official reveal piece by piece and reveal the sort of three-phase incremental strategy they used. Some might call it a boil the frog approach. That was clearly needed to roll this romance out to, well, a pretty skeptical public.
Okay, let's get into the debut itself then, because you're right, every single element felt curated. The date, Sunday, October 26, 2025, and the venue. That felt like the first big chess move. The closing night gala premiere of Jackman's own new film, Song Sung Blue.
Yes, the venue control. It's fascinating, the sheer power of choosing that specific place.
Why there?
Well, it was a strategic choice, almost certainly designed to elevate the relationship's status immediately, by debuting at his own film premiere.
A film that's already getting Oscar buzz, apparently.
Exactly. That buzz is crucial. It gave Jackman maximum narrative leverage. Think about it. They avoided some generic charity gala or a random movie night.
Where the relationship would have been the only story.
Right. And likely judged much more harshly because of it.
So instead, they kind of wove the personal story into the professional one.
Precisely. He tethered the hard launch to his own professional prestige, his critical acclaim, and in doing that, he subtly reframes Sutton Foster in the public eye.
So?
She's not just the new girlfriend, or the co-star maybe linked to the marriage breakdown. Suddenly, she's presented as the partner to an Oscar contender.
Ah, okay. It signals more than just happiness. It's like holistic success.
Yes, a unified front where she's supporting his career, and therefore, implicitly, she's worthy of being there beside him. That transfer of prestige, it's absolutely critical for legitimization when you're battling those kinds of infidelity rumors.
And the look, the visuals, definitely supported that message. Serious, shared success. The sources detailing what they wore are pretty specific.
Coordinated black, right?
Yep. Coordinated, quite somber black looks. Jackman, who's 57 now, in a classic black suit or tux. And Foster, 50, matching him perfectly in what was described as a chic black slip dress.
Sometimes called a low-cut black satin dress in other reports.
Right.
And that choice of black, I mean, it's not accidental. It's basically PR armor in this situation.
Like a shield.
Yeah, a PR shield. Black projects seriousness, formality, a kind of sober, unified front. They were deliberately avoiding any hint of like frivolousness or flashiness or, God forbid, gloating.
Which would have looked terrible.
Yeah, devastating. Given the recent, very contentious end of their previous marriages, they absolutely needed to signal stability, not more scandal.
So the message is, this is serious, this is mature, not a fling.
Exactly. That visual alignment, it's a really powerful nonverbal assertion of, hopefully for them, enduring stability.
And the body language seemed designed to just amplify that declaration, didn't it?
Oh, completely.
They were described as being all smiles, arm in arm, grinning, laughing, appearing very overtly happy and relaxed.
One source even called it a definitive high-visibility, nothing-to-hide performance, which is telling in itself.
Yeah.
And this is where you really see the calculated performance reaching its peak. I mean, why such an overt display of comfort and relaxation?
To push back against the other narrative.
Precisely. It was designed specifically to neutralize the really high-stakes context, the persistent affair allegations, the profound wound statement from Furness hanging in the air. They knew every single second, every glance would be scrutinized by the press for any sign of tension or distance or even, guilt.
So the happy and relaxed posing was defiance.
It was strategic defiance. Absolutely. They're visually asserting to the world and maybe pointedly to the whole Team Deb sentiment that they are stable, they're committed, and fundamentally unbothered by all the negative chatter and the accusations. It's a psychological play, really, trying to make the detractors seem kind of petty.
That makes a lot of sense. So the debut was about controlling the current visual, the immediate picture.
Yes.
But for all that visual control, the whole launch still hinges on whether people buy their backstory, right? The authenticity of the timeline. That seems like the weak spot.
We absolutely have to talk about that contested history. It's crucial.
So what's the official line?
The official PR-approved narrative, the one they want you to believe, is anchored in this deep, decades-long professional friendship. It goes way back to the early 2000s.
The Million Wolverine backstory, as some call it.
Exactly. It's a tale designed to add legitimacy, depth, make it feel like destiny, kismet, not some calculated professional hookup.
And that framing is everything. If it's an inevitable evolution of long-standing respect, it counters the idea of an illicit overlap.
Right.
But that narrative hits a pretty massive snag when you look at the catalyst, which seems undeniably to be their time together in The Music Man on Broadway.
2022 to 2023. Yeah. That period is unquestionably when the professional bonds seem to deepen into something else.
The sources from back then are full of them praising each other.
Oh, definitely. Jackman called Foster the best in the world. She called him one of the greatest guys ever. Standard stuff, maybe, but...
But it clearly moved beyond just professional admiration. And the public sources actually seem to pinpoint the moment that boundary started to blur.
You're talking about the June 2022 interview.
Exactly. This was well before any separation announcements. Foster called Jackman one of my best friends. Fine. But then she added this line, which in retrospect looks kind of shocking.
What was it again?
She said, "But we just spent Memorial Day with our families. It's really fun to meet new friends after 40.
Yes, that quote. At the time, it probably seemed quite charming, wholesome even.
Totally innocent on the surface.
But today, critics, and certainly the Team Deb faction online, they see that joint family Memorial Day weekend as the quote-unquote smoking gun.
Evidence of an emotional affair.
Or at least suggesting an integration between the two families that went way beyond a typical professional acquaintance. It signals, or seems to signal, intimacy and boundary crossing while both were still officially married to other people.
Wow. So that one small detail, the family Memorial Day gathering, becomes the core piece of evidence fueling those overlap claims.
Pretty much. And when you lay out the comparative timeline, the official PR narrative, well, it starts to look shaky, very shaky.
Let's do that. Yeah. Because this is where the PR conflict really blows up.
Okay, the hard dates that create the problem. Jackman separated from Furness in September 2023.
Right.
He and Foster reportedly started dating sometime in late 2023. Okay.
Got it.
Now look at Foster's legal status. She did not file for divorce from her husband until October 2024.
October 2024, that's a year after Jackman separated.
Yeah.
And well after they supposedly started dating.
Correct. A huge gap. A period of ambiguity, let's call it.
Okay, and then the relationship started going public, sort of.
Yeah.
Those first paparazzi photos, the soft launch of them holding hands.
That was January 2025 in Santa Monica.
Okay, January 2025, they're seen holding hands.
Yeah.
And then Deborra-Lee Furness files for divorce.
Exactly. She didn't file until May 2025. A full 4 months after those hand-holding photos confirmed the new relationship was real and public.
Whoa.
So what does that sequence suggest? It looks very much like the public arrival of Hugh and Sutton. The visual confirmation of their partnership might have been the very thing that forced the final, painful legal step from Furness.
That sequence. Foster not filing until October 2024. Furness not filing until May 2025, both well after the reported dating started. That just shreds the pure friendship narrative.
It absolutely substantiates the overlap claims that were fueling the affair rumors all along. It makes the big red carpet debut look less like a happy celebration.
And more like, I don't know, planting a flag. A declaration of war, almost.
Which is precisely why Furness likely responded with such powerful narrative artillery of her own. That solo statement in May 2025, it completely blew their original, very bland, very PR-friendly individual growth separation announcement from the previous fall out of the water.
It was such a masterstroke of emotional framing. Using that explicit language, traumatic journey of betrayal, profound wound.
By deliberately using the word betrayal, she publicly validated all those affair rumors without ever actually having to confirm them with specific facts or details.
Which gave her immense moral authority.
Instantly, it positioned her as the dignified, long-suffering survivor in the public eye.
And the public reaction seemed to follow that lead, didn't it?
Oh, the sentiment analysis is unavoidable. Sources, including that key Yahoo article, they identified the dominant public reaction immediately. Overwhelming sympathy for Furness, which instantaneously created Team Deb.
Okay, but hang on. You said earlier the red carpet debut was a strategic success because it controlled the image, gave them those visuals of unity.
Mechanically, yeah.
But isn't it fundamentally a failure if the immediate result was just solidifying Team Deb and magnifying all the negativity online? You called it a success, but the comment sections suggest the launch just polarized everyone even more, didn't win anyone over.
That's a really crucial distinction, and you're right to push on it. It was a mechanical success in achieving the narrow PR goal, make the relationship undeniable, get those pictures out there.
Okay.
But you are absolutely right, socially. In terms of changing hearts and minds, it seems like a failure, or at least not the win they might have hoped for. The debate that's raging now is deeply rooted in that cultural trope, isn't it? The older, perceived as long-suffering wife, Furness at 69.
Being replaced by the still mature but younger co-star Foster at 50.
Exactly. And that narrative resonates powerfully, fairly or unfairly.
Yeah, and the hostility online is palpable. You see those anti-couple comments everywhere, and they almost always cite the timing issue. Things like, they're both disgusting, or celebrating a relationship built on such shitty behavior.
It'd be explicitly connecting the dots. So there was an overlap. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
So precisely. The divided reaction proves that both narrative, the official joyful union they tried to project on the red carpet, and Furness's profound wound narrative, they're just coexisting simultaneously now.
The red carpet wasn't really a celebration there.
It felt more like a desperate declaration, an attempt to change the public channel from Deb's pain to Hugh and Sutton's joy. But all it really did was cement the polarization. Both sides dug in.
Okay, so given that incredibly sensitive environment, that charged atmosphere, the big debut couldn't have just happened out of the blue. It had to be the final stage of a much bigger, probably very cautious strategy.
Absolutely. This brings us to that boil the frog approach you mentioned earlier.
The deliberate, three-phase PR rollout that came before the hard launch.
Yes. And the phasing itself shows just how nervous they likely were about the public's reaction. They knew they couldn't just drop the hard launch cold.
Too risky for Jackman's brand. The nicest guy in Hollywood thing.
Exactly. That brand has been carefully cultivated for decades. A messy, sudden reveal could shatter it. So phase one, that was the paparazzi soft launch way back in January 2025.
Those hand-holding pictures in Santa Monica.
Correct. The relationship was essentially leaked via those photos, which, let's be honest, looked pretty staged.
Yeah, they often do.
The risk there was, of course, the immediate negative press backlash. But the reward, starting the public desensitization process.
Get the initial shock out of the way.
Exactly. Force the public to just acknowledge, okay, yes, this is actually happening.
Okay, then phase two. That happened just the week before the big AFI Fest premiere. You called it the safe space normalization.
They basically floated two industry-friendly trial balloons. But notice, they still avoided a full joint red carpet walk together. They were testing the waters very carefully.
How so? What were the events?
Well, for example, at that Fetch Pet Gala, Foster walked the green carpet alone, which signals professional independence, right? Jackman only joined her inside for dinner photos, away from the main press scrum.
Controlled environment.
Totally. And similarly, they posed for that rare backstage photo together at a Richard Marx concert. Again, backstage, not front and center press line.
So they were controlling the environment, testing which outlets would run the photos, what the tone of the coverage would be.
Before committing to the full-bore, high-pressure premiere press line, it showed extreme caution.
And then phase three, the final bomb drop, the official hard launch, October 26th, AFI Fest premiere.
That was it. The first time they willingly walked the carpet together, posed as a fully committed couple for the entire world's press corps. No hiding.
So that whole phase structure, It incrementally answered different public questions, didn't it? Trying to ease people into it.
That's a great way to put it. Phase 1 answered, are they together? Confirmation. Phase 2 answered, okay, are they attending events together? Are their circles integrated? And Phase 3, the AFI premiere, definitively answered, are they red carpet official? Are they presenting as a long-term couple?
A measured release of information and access, designed to minimize shock and, ideally, eventual backlash.
Minimize, yes. Eliminate, clearly not.
So where does this leave the Hugh Jackman brand now? You said the debut was a mechanical success. It made the relationship official, provided those controlled visuals.
It was a successful operation, yes. From a pure PR mechanic standpoint, they achieved the objective. But it fundamentally failed to erase that potent, emotional counter-narrative of the betrayal.
It didn't solve the moral problem in the public's eye.
Not at all. It merely provided proof that the relationship is serious and they're moving forward. But Jackman's long-cultivated brand, that nicest guy in Hollywood, the devoted husband image, that brand is now permanently bifurcated. It's damaged.
So the all-smiles red carpet moment wasn't the end of the story.
Far from it. It felt more like the starting pistol for a sustained, probably very long-term campaign that's now required to prove the legitimacy, the longevity of this new relationship. And that takes years, not just one night.
Which leads us to a final kind of provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over. The ultimate PR battle here isn't really about today's controlled headlines or perfectly posed photos. It's about time.
Interesting.
Can the image of Hugh and Sutton's projected joy, assuming they can sustain it publicly without major missteps over years and years, can that image finally eclipse the public's memory of the profound wound Deborra-Lee Furness accused them of causing?
That's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? It's an uphill battle against a very strong narrative. The clock is definitely ticking now.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.